Today's podcast episode, I'm going to be talking to you about the importance of continually leveling up your professional and personal skills to grow your online business. A very good way to think about this initially if you're an online fitness coach is if you're in the position right now where you don't know how to make content, what to make content about. Reality is, A, you don't know your audience in terms of who they are, what their pain points are, and B, you probably don't have enough information in terms of actual training knowledge. So one of the key things I'd recommend every single person does is this. One, you need to be part of one type of mastermind and mentorship. I'm constantly probably waiting like 2 or 3. Secondly, which you need to be doing is going to, like, if you're an online trainer, is going to in-person seminars every year to improve your knowledge in terms of training mechanics, nutrition, all these sort of things. Now, why would getting better at training mechanics and nutrition help to online coaching? Well, very simply, even just from a marketing point of view, you being super clued up in terms of from your knowledge in terms of mechanics and nutrition, and even like the endocrine system and things like that, will allow you to make much more high-level content, which will convert better. One of the actually interesting things that I did last summer was teach a course for online trainers in terms of how to improve like their nutrition knowledge. And within that process of actually teaching the course, a bit like I find with Mastermind, I actually learned a lot more myself because I was putting in so much in-depth research into terms of what actually works in terms of fat loss and having actual like calculations and studies that can help with people. So one of the key things you need to make sure you're doing is you're constantly striving for new knowledge. Now, one of the things you have to be aware of is there's a lot of people out there who's selling bullshit stuff that doesn't really make any relevance. So you need to find who like is ideal for your audience. From this point of view, what I'd suggest, again, coming back to thinking about who it is you're working with, what their main pain points are. So if you're looking at like, okay, you're a bodybuilding prep coach, an online coach, then you might want to be going to someone like Callum Raystrick or Luke Miller's podcast. If you're not a bodybuilding prep coach, that's probably not the right type of seminar for you to be going to. Now, the next thing I'd suggest in terms of like professional and personal development you want to be doing is thinking about even doing things like reading constantly. So I personally try and read like at least a book a week. I've been a bit slack on that recently. And one of the key things is actually knowing what book to read and when. Because I remember like years ago, people recommending to me like, oh, you need to read X, Y, Z. And I was like, I looked at it and I was like, okay. And I started to read it. I was like, not interested. Because what you'll find as your business grows, as you grow in life, you'll get new challenges and new problems at each different level. And there'll be almost like a book that's got the solution to this. And one of the things I really like to do is read books of really successful people, because there's a saying that success leaves clues. So if you go and mirror the habits and mindset and the way people think who are the most successful people out there, guess what? By inherently, you will become like that. And one of the big issues that people say in terms of from their mindset point of view and like knowledge is that they're not around like-minded people. If you're in Dubai, you're very fortunate that you should be doing that. Or if you're in part of our mastermind, you're very fortunate you're in part of that. But one of the easiest ways to do that and to think about that is reading the books from the right people, following the right people on social media, so you get that right input of, okay, this is how I need to think and this is how I need to feel. One of the key things you need to be doing with your life right now if you're trying to level up and improve your mindset and your business are these very simple things. One is cut out anyone who holds you back or says you can't do anything. Number 2, unfollow absolutely everyone on social media who doesn't offer you any value, or also you get comparison syndrome. So I will talk even from my experience, I get comparison syndrome looking at other people more successful than me. So I try not to look at their stuff. Same thing may well happen to you. Now, you can take inspiration from others, but you don't necessarily need to be obsessed by thinking like, oh, I'm not good enough. Because the reality is what you want to think about, if you've got a goal, say for your business this year in 2023 to hit 50K a month, like has any other person who looks like you, who's like you, achieve that before in the world? Reality is probably yes. So that means it is possible and it means you can do it as well. And that's a limiting belief you need to remove. And this is one of the things that happens when you continually educate yourself. One of the things I also did last year and the year before, if I go through a patch where I'm struggling in terms of like from a psychological point of view of like happiness and fulfillment or knowing what I'm supposed to be doing, I actually work with psychologists and I seek help. So a big personal development tool for you is actually realizing, okay, when you have a challenge, is seeking help to try and answer that challenge or that question that you have for life. And a very easy way to finish up in terms of how you can improve your mindset is literally goal setting. So one of the key things I recommend to everyone in our mastermind, Sunday morning, you have a goal setting session. So you write 3 goals you want to achieve for next week, and they have to be not working in the business, but working on the business. And what's really going to move the needle forwards. You can't say posting on Instagram, can't say doing check-ins, you can't say any bullshit like that. It has to be something that's actually going to help you move forwards, not just to let you like stay at the same level where you are. With that, I'd also recommend you must have goals for 2023 in terms of what you want to achieve. And where you want to put these goals, you want to put them on your computer screen. So I've got 4 or 5 goals stuck on a computer screen. Very, very clear. This is what I want to achieve this year. This is what I am going to achieve. And another thing I do is I write those goals down every single morning to have them front of face. And I also have them in my top of my notebook. So when I open that book for the day, I'm like, okay, this is what I have to focus on this day, and not get dragged into the weeds of trying to become an influencer or do other dumb stuff, which I see fitness coaches doing. So these are some key points in terms of leveling up your mindset and personal development for 2023. If you enjoyed this short podcast episode, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. Head over to the 7-Figure Scaling Systems IG page, where I've got tons more content like this with precise tips to help you grow your business. And if you're also looking for mentorship and guidance to do that with a proven blueprint to success, which we teach from our own fitness business, message me word scale to find out how I can help you.